Please introduce yourself.
My name's Motaz Askar, MMA fighter out of Chicago, Illinois, originally out of Palestine. I'm 21. As of right now, I have a 7-0 amateur record, and hopefully my next fight will be my pro debut to make it to the top. So,
How would you describe your fighting style? Because I've seen much combinations in your game, and I'm not sure whether you grapple, strike, take down, or
yeah, I would say my style is I'd describe it as like energetic and as actually a pure mixed martial artist, and I'm able to actually do everything, and that's what I feel like the puts me over the competition because I know how to grapple, know how to wrestle, know how to do jiu-jitsu, strike, Muay Thai. Wherever the fight goes, I'm comfortable on my back, on top. Wherever it goes, I'm always comfortable, and I feel like there's no hole in my game, so it's always a good time when I fight.
oh, it's awesome. When did you start training this lovely sport?
So I started training when I was in eighth grade, so I was about 12, 13 years old. I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I told myself I'm going to do wrestling when I get into high school, and once I did, when I got to high school, I ended up doing wrestling. Ended up falling in love with it, so it became like one of my, it became the biggest thing in my game, my grappling. So I took some time off from jiu-jitsu and just straight did wrestling, and then Muay Thai during the summer. So it was nonstop training of whatever martial art was during that season. So I've been training for about close to 8 years, 8, 9 years now.
How do you prepare before battle? Do you have some specific set of things do, or you basically just enter the battle and let's fight?
As a fight, there's a lot of stuff I get ready. Obviously, my nutrition changes up when I get ready for a fight. My diet gets cleaned up if I don't have a fight lined up about however long, if it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks away. I clean up my diet, my training, even though as of right now, I don't have a set fight, but I still train hard. But when I have a set fight and I know I'm gonna fight, my training does step up. So by that I mean I do more training sessions. I stay a little longer. I run a little bit more. I hit the bag a little longer. So I end up doing a lot more things to help me make sure I'm ready for the fight.
Okay, I've noticed your entrance is a bit different, so can you describe it? It's your entrance when you enter the scene, when you enter the octagon.
Yeah. Oh, when I hop in. Oh, when I
Yeah,
get in,
yeah, yeah.
I make uh, I make that, which is like a prayer in the Islamic way.
Yes?
Put my hands up and I make a prayer. I usually tend to say before I'm like I pray to God saying, I hope I get out here safe, go in there, win the fight, leave without no problems, no cuts, no bruises, no, hope to get in there safe and leave out safe, and win. That's about the stuff I usually cover, and for my cardio to be at the level that I want it to be, because that's how I would say it's the most important thing in a fight. Because once you lose your cardio, everything goes to garbage. So I make uh, I make like praise to those 3 4 things before every fight.
Alright, I guess your wrestling coach taught you to stick like glue, right? You know,
Say
sticking
that.
like a glue fighter. You know, when you fight, when you stick, you stick. I mean,
Big
I
like
will ask you
glue, yeah.
later, but your grappling coach or a wrestling coach learned you that move.
Uh, you're talking about like when I take someone down and I hold
Yes,
keep them down.
yes, yes.
Well, yeah. My my wrestling game is a lot on takedowns, and then to be on top, it's just the way I learned that was just a lot of practice and a lot of um, videos, learning, watching a lot of fights. Obviously, specifically Khabib, see what he does, like his leg tie when he ties the legs up. I learned that from my brother, who's also a fighter, and he learned that from Khabib, and we use it on everybody. I used it in my fights. He used it in his fights. And just to be able to keep someone down in a fight and not just hold and do nothing, but to hold and punch and move and make them tired is just one of the biggest things. So yeah, I think that's one of my biggest things in my fighting style, to be able to hold someone down and stick on them like glue. So
Who are your coaches?
my coaches, I have a couple. My head coach is Alex Trujillo. He's the main and head coach at MTC. And then I have Barry Hoppin, who's the assistant coach there. I have a boxing coach. His name is Shannon. He helps me with my hands. And then I have a jiu-jitsu coach. His name is Omar Casio, I think it's his last name. He's my jiu-jitsu coach. He helps me with everything. And then my brothers are technically my coaches. I got two older brothers who both fight, and they they help me with whatever I need. So you can consider them my coaches
You
too.
have a great team, right?
My man, yes sir.
Yeah. The first fight was, listen, in my native language, it's kind of hard to say some names. So if I make a mistake,
Yeah.
correct me. Was this Juana
No, you're
Vida?
okay. Say that again.
Your first fight, was this Juana Vida?
My first fight, Juana Villa.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Can you
his
talk
name.
about that fight, please?
That one was my first fight. That one was definitely one of the most memorable, because when we started the fight, it was my first fight, so I didn't know how a fight feels or how it would go down. I've been in a lot of wrestling matches. I've been in a kickboxing fight before, but never an MMA fight. And I've known I was gonna be in a fight, like an MMA fight when I was younger. So the anticipation for 5-6 years to get into that fight was building up until that day, and I was just super excited. But the dude, he was really, really good. He really had some really good hands. When we started the fight, it felt like a video game. It didn't feel like real life. I felt like I wasn't controlling myself, and it was just a different feeling. And then right when we started, I tried to touch his hand, glove touch, and he punched me with a hook as hard as he can.
I saw that.
He rocked my world,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa. And then, okay, yeah, he hit me with it, and then I ended up taking him down. We got back up, and I was already tired about 15, 20 seconds into the fight, and I'm like, oh my God, this is how it feels. I was tired. I'm like, I might lose right now. I ended up grinding him out. I landed a head kick on him, a right hand, ended up taking him down, and then from there, I was on top of him. I was punching him, and he just couldn't, he couldn't go nowhere. And I did like a couple submissions on him, submission attempts. But the dude was tough. He was really a tough guy. He wouldn't go away. And it was a decision. And honestly, I thought I could finish him, you know what I mean? And I've improved since that fight. That was about 2 years ago. And that dude is a tough guy, So whoever he faces, good luck with him.
Your second fight was against Amin Shimaniak, right?
Yes.
Okay, from that fight, I have two questions. First, how did you get into his legs so many times? You weren't going like a classical. You were attacking his legs. It is kind of, it's not a classic attack.
Yeah, well, the thing was, when he was striking, I knew he was so vulnerable to getting taken down, because when when the fight was going, he was planting his feet and he was trying to throw, So by then I'm like, and the cage we were in was actually way smaller than the first cage I fought in. So I'm like, if I just shoot and push him a couple of feet, he'll go against the cage. And that fight, I ended up having I think 5-6 takedowns. I ended up taking him down a lot.
I counted 7.
It was 7. So there you go. And I took him down 7 times, and somehow I ended up still losing by a split decision. Winning by split decision. I thought it wasn't a close fight. The kid was a tough guy too. He wouldn't go away, and I was just like, and people were telling me that those two guys just fought. They're tough. They're not pushovers. I ended up going all 3 rounds with both of them, and that kid was tough. My wrestling prevailed again, and the thing was, it sucked. I wanted to show my hands a little bit more. I ended up rocking him with an overhand, but that was only one thing I was able to do. Couldn't really strike that much, but I did strike a little bit more than I did in my first fight, which was a plus for me. So that fight was fun. First fight was fun. It was a good time.
he had you, I think it was round 3, you know, not south position. It was kinda, he was trying to wrapping up and so on. So, when he did this, how did you
Yeah.
escape? I don't know if I asked you correctly, but he wrapped you up, and how did you escape?
There was a time where we I was behind him, and or I was yes I was behind I was I think in side control, and I tried to get his back.
Yes,
And when I tried to get his back, he rolled over and he ended up on top of me.
yes, yes,
And from there, he had me in side control, and I wasn't worried. I'm comfortable off my back. It's not like I was scared or nothing. But I was like, okay, it's not a situation I want to be in. But I ended up just holding him down. I was gonna try to get back to half guard, back to full guard, but he was holding me and he didn't want to move until the ref was just like, let's just stand up, because he didn't throw one single punch down there. And it was cool with me, I didn't mind the low break, because it's hard to find that in a fight. But we ended up, the ref ended up standing us up because I was able to hold him down and he wasn't able to throw a punch. So
all right. Your third fight was Brody Joseph, right?
yes,
Yeah, so did you turn the lights out or it was TKO? I was unable to find it.
it was a TKO.
TKO.
Yes, it was a TKO, and when that fight was pretty quick. Don't really remember
Yes.
a lot. I ended up taking him down and just passing with my pressure, and I was able to throw some really good shots in the half guard, and that's where like the videos I've been watching and practicing have come in handy, and the ground and pound work where we go body, head, and I was able to catch him with the head when I was in full guard, and I was able to pass all the way into a mount, and I just kept throwing shots, and to the point where he just covered up and he just didn't want to fight no more, and ended up being a TKO. He didn't go to sleep or nothing, but it was a TKO.
Your choke against Eric Ottman, it was kind of very, very much skillful, if I'm gonna say. And is rear naked choke your most skillful submission, your most dominant submission?
Yes, rear naked choke, 100%. That is my number one submission. I do go after a lot, is because my wrestling helps me get to the back. And when I get to the back, it's I'm not gonna say easy, but it's I'm really, really, really good at the rear naked choke. I'm able to transition and able to trick the dude that I have into falling into my my choke. So and that's a shout out to one of my other jiu-jitsu coaches. His name is Joe Lamana. He actually taught me a way to do a rear naked choke that has helped me put a lot of people, to tap to a rear naked. So
It's awesome. You said number 2 and number 1 were tough guys, but I actually think Carter Holthusen was a very, very tough guy. That's my opinion. When I watched that bout, I was like, I was thinking that he is a very, very tough guy. So do you agree or disagree?
100%. Super tough guy, super nice guy. He was 6-1. When I fought him, it was my first fight where I actually had a dude with a pretty good record. And I ended up just outstriking him that fight. I ended up striking with him the whole 3 rounds. I did not take him down one time, and that's where I knew my game has reached a new level. I was able to knock him down. I almost finished him with a strike, and he was I think a jiu-jitsu brown belt, and I knew on the ground he was good. It wasn't that I was like scared to take him down, but I was like, this is a fight where I can work on my feet, and I was able to. Ended up knocking him down and just working, and I was able to throw whatever I wanted and putting all my combos together. Ended up going to decision. That dude was definitely tough because I did hit him with some hard shots. He did not want to go away, and after the fight, we talked. He added me on Facebook. He was a nice guy. He was definitely the nicest guy I've ever fought.
Great. About Emmanuel Poole fight, number 6, was it a Demolition Magician or it was a super hard bout for you?
It wasn't hard. It was probably the hardest mentally, not the hardest physically. I was in the best shape because that dude was talking. He was talking a lot of shit before the fight.
Yeah, I'm asking you because of that.
Yeah, he talked a lot of shit. My friends seen him to tell me, oh, this guy's talking shit too. Blah blah blah. That didn't let it get to me. But the dude was, I'm not gonna say nothing about him, but he He thinks a lot highly of himself. And going into that fight, I just felt the atmosphere in that fight because it was the main event. Um, that it was like gonna be wild. And right when we started, it was right off the bat. I hit him with an overhand, take him down right away, lock him up, and then I tried to throw some strikes, and he's just talking some shit when I was on top of him, and I'm like, oh, here we go with this guy, you know. And then at the end of the first round, he started talking some more. I ended up talking back to him. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Because he was telling me, oh, he's going to hold me down. I'm like, this is a fight. Try to get up, Then he stands up and he starts talking more shit. And I'm like, this guy, And then second round, he came out with a spinning tornado kick, and I ended up taking him down again. There was a lot of pressure on that fight, so I was as careful as I was because of that reason. I ended up taking him down, ground and pounding him pretty hard, and then taking his back, and I ended up choking him out. He went to sleep. A lot of people don't know he actually went out, and that was definitely the most satisfying win out of a lot of them. That dude is definitely something else.
About Curtis Ellis, I also have two questions. I don't know if you remember, but he was trying to transit of the cage many times, and you were every time like pushing down, and holding him down. So how did you defend this cage transition? It is very, very hard to defend.
He was a strong guy, but on top, I know my pressure. I know where my hands.
But he had the cage, he had the cage, and he was pushing up the cage.
Yes, he was using the cage. I know he's pushing up the cage, and I know he's holding onto the cage.
Yeah, me too.
All of that. Yeah, and he, I knew it is what it is. It's a fight. People try to do what they can. You know what I mean? In fights, some people hold on to clothes, some people hold on to the cage. It happens sometimes. But he did it a couple of times. He was a cool dude. He was a good guy, but I just knew my skill level was way better than him. And like on the feet, I was ready to go. I was ready to bang it out. Ended up taking him down. He tried to use the cage to push off. But it didn't work. I knew my pressure on top would not let him. I feel like if you were on top and mount and someone were to push you off or kick you off, it would, not a scrub, but like someone who's not very good would fall off, So I knew when he would start bumping, I'm just like, I'm going to stay on top of this guy. And I ended up getting on top, hitting him with some shots, and I ended up submitting him.
About that submission, that Americana was, from a very, very weird angle. So how did you push that Americana to the end? It was a very weird angle. It was not a normal angle.
Yeah, no, I had one of his arms trapped, and from there I was thinking of jumping to a triangle and going on my back, but for me, I'm not one to be like, okay, let me go on my back in the middle of a fight. So I was like, what do I see open? I couldn't land some hard shots, especially being an amateur. I couldn't throw elbows. As a pro, I know I would have probably finished him with elbows. But from that position, I ended up seeing the arm. It was by himself, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go for it. I always hit that in practice. I usually hit Kimuras, not really Americanas, but I ended up going for it, and I know I hurt him pretty well because he started screaming after the fight, right after I put it on him. But it was a good submission. It worked, It came in handy.
So which promotion would you like to join? You said you plan on pro debut and so on.
Yeah, hopefully my pro debut will be, I hope LFA. We're trying to get on October 25th for LFA.
Yeah.
And then obviously my whole goal is to make it to the UFC, nothing else. I think I'll probably fight for Bellator. Hopefully, God willing, that in May they come back to Chicago and usually our guys get put on and, I hope to be riding a win streak and then hop on that card. But the ultimate goal is to make the UFC, which I hope to make in a couple of years. And the goal is by 23, 24,
It would have been a great success. There's no doubt about it. What motivates you most when you go for a fight and so on? What makes you motivated for the fight?
What did you say that again? What makes what?
What makes you motivated for the fight? What
What
motivates
makes
you?
me motivated? A lot of things. I love the sport. I don't do it for no one else but myself. And then also I have some motivations on the side as I watch some fights and I'm like, I know I'm better than these guys. I know I could do better. I can go farther. And then my brothers, obviously, we all push each other, And my dad, he loves it. This guy, he loves it. My friends love watching him. When they come to the fight, they don't even watch me fight. They watch my dad and how he reacts during the fight. But my dad and my mom, are one of the biggest motivators for me and just my family and my friends. You know, because I know my family and my friends want to see me do good, and I like to see them happy about my success. You know, and just me. At the end of the day, it would just be me that motivates myself because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's training every day, cutting weight, dieting, and you know, just going to that lengths to win.
Would you like to add anything else, to greet someone, to say something else? Uh,
Um, I would say just for anyone watching, add me on Instagram, IZZO25, Izzo25. On Twitter, same thing, and then Facebook. And then just shout out to everybody that's helped me along the way. Um, and hopefully to make my pro debut, I'm trying to, you know, see where it goes from there. But thankful for everybody that's helped me throughout this journey already. And I'm just ready to take the next step.
Motaz Askar, thank you for this lovely interview.